First, it was the common entrance. Then it was GSAT, and come 2019, our students at the primary level will be introduced to PEP, and that's the primary exit profile. But what is PEP, and why is GSAT being replaced? Well, here to answer your questions today from the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information are Dr. Grace McLean, and she's the Chief Education Officer, and beside her, to her right, is the manager of the Student Assessment Unit, Mrs. Terrian Thomas Gale. I'm your host, Vanessa Silvera, and you're watching JIS Radio Studio 58A live on Facebook. Got questions? This is the place to ask. Leave a comment below and we'll field your questions to our guests later on during the broadcast. Welcome to JIS Radio, ladies.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Good morning to your listeners and viewers.
All right. So, let's get right to it. Why is GSAT being replaced?
Okay, I want to start from perhaps a basic principle of education, which is really curriculum, teaching, learning, and assessment. An education system, as a part of its review process, must do some analysis of its curriculum every 10 to 15 years and to make changes within the context of what is happening internationally as well as the local context. And so the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, based on an analysis that was done in 2010, took the decision to do a comprehensive review and a new implementation of a new curriculum. That curriculum is now called the National Standards Curriculum. So after development for about 4 or so years, we started a phased implementation in 2016 and completed the full implementation in 2017. Having completed the implementation of the curriculum, it became necessary for us to commence the implementation of our assessments. Now, the primary exit profile is the assessment that is complementary to our students who are preparing to go on to secondary from grade 4 to 6. And so this assessment, which is comprised of a series of different tasks and activities, is expected to replace the grade 6 achievement test in 2019. What the PEP will do is to develop a profile for each student starting from grade 4. So from grade 4, we will have an idea as to how our students are performing in the different areas. And so, for example, we had our grade 4 literacy and numeracy, which would be done at grade 4. This will now form a part of PEP. So the first assessments by way of the performance tasks that will be done in grade 4 will, as it were, effectively replace the grade 4 literacy and numeracy assessment. So our teachers will have this information, which of course they will be able to review and to do the necessary intervention as our students move to grade 5, where again they will complete performance tasks in the 4 key areas of mathematics, English language, social studies, and science. And as they move to grade 6, they will be assessed performance task, yes, for 2 of the areas, and also an ability test, because Jamaica has to agree with us that we must assess the actual general abilities of our students to ensure that they are on par with what is happening internationally. And of course, there is a curriculum-based test, which is only based on the curriculum for grade 6, and this is expected to be done towards the latter part of April in grade 6. So effectively, we will have a series of assessments that will be done from grade 4 through to grade 6, instead of us having just one assessment that is done on the work that they would have done over 3 years and is tested in grade 6, which of course would have limited the students' chances to maximize their potential in getting themselves ready for the secondary level.
We actually have a mock exam this year, right? Mrs. Thomas Gale, tell me about that. What will the students be doing?
The performance task for grades 4 and 5 will be done June this year. That's next month. The grade 4s will do their performance task in language arts and mathematics. That will be done on the 22nd of June. And the grade 5s will do their performance task, science and social studies, language arts and math, and that will be done June 18th and 19th.
But the grade 6 students are just focusing on GSAT. So no mock exams
No
for them.
mock exam for the students in grade 6. Only those students, though, Vanessa, those students who are currently in grade 6 and their date of birth is 2006 and below, they did not sit the grade 6 exam, that's GSAT. Those students will sit the performance task at grade 5. Because the mock performance task is to expose them to what a performance task actually is.
All right. Outline the difference, the main differences between GSAT and PEP. And why are we having a PEP? Is there something that GSAT couldn't solve while we're having the primary exit profile?
All right. As Dr. McLean said earlier, we had a change in the national standards curriculum. And because of the change in the curriculum requires a different form of assessment. And this form of assessment is the primary exit profile. GSAT had its merit, and we had GSAT for over 19 years, and the curriculum changed, the demands of the society has changed, and in so meeting the demands of society, we have to change the way in which we assess our students, leaving the primary level into the secondary level. Unlike GSAT, the primary exit profile will assess the students over a 3-year period. For GSAT, they were given a one-shot exam.
So it's not a one-shot.
It's not a one-shot. So the students will be given assessment at grade 4, where they will be given the performance task in language arts and mathematics. And that will be based on the grade 4 curriculum. So at the end of grade 4, the students will be given that performance task. When they get to grade 5, the report will be sent out at the end of grade 4. The grade 5 teachers will get that report, and they will see how much of the curriculum is achieved by the students at grade 4. And it will tell you how competent the students are in the different subject area, that is the language arts and mathematics. Then they will get a performance task at the end of grade 5. The performance task will be in language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies, and it will be based on the grade 5 curriculum.
All right. I hear you mention language arts, math, science, and social studies. Now, I was speaking to a parent the other day, and one of their main concerns is that there will be no task for the students to write and express themselves. Tell me how or what component of PEP will address that.
All right. In continuing the difference with GSAT and the primary exit profile, for GSAT, we know that it was predominantly multiple choice and the task paper. The task is actually an item type where the students got to do a certain amount of extended writing. For the primary exit profile, we find that the curriculum is so designed that the students will be required to do extended writing across all subject areas. So while they won't be doing a paper called task, the students will still be given the opportunity to write, to do some extended writing in the subject areas.
All right. And I'm sure parents out there are terrified because this is a new assessment. This is uncharted territory for the ministry as well as the students, and they're wondering, especially the grade 5 parents, oh Lord, my child going to be a guinea pig. What is going to happen? Is this going to work? What can you tell parents to kind of set their hearts at ease?
Well, first and foremost, in any change that is taking place in education, there has to be a transition. And so within that, the next 3 years, starting 2019, we will have the transition. So a phased approach is being used for the implementation of PEP. Our psychometricians and all of those persons who really do studies in assessment will also tell you that whenever there is a new assessment that is being implemented, there are some parameters that are set to ensure that our students are not disadvantaged. So the ministry's team has taken these into consideration, and we will ensure that our students are treated fairly. We should also try, and I believe this is where the problem is, Vanessa, we are combining the placement with the assessment. And so a student may have done very well in the assessment overall, but because the student has not been placed into her number one school that she had selected from the 7 choices, she feels that she has not done well enough. And so we have to continue to say to our children and to say to our parents, the assessment itself is preparing them for life. Unfortunately, they may not get into the school that they want to go, but the ministry is working assiduously to see how we can actually improve the physical classroom space within our schools, the labs that we have for the science, the STEM and the TVET areas, improving or increasing the number of teachers so that there can be adequate attention that is paid to the students so quality education can take place. We know that is going to take time, but we are currently working through. Now, we at the ministry do understand and share the concerns of our teachers and our parents. Our responsibility is to connect with our teachers, connect with our parents, and to encourage and support as best as possible. So we are willing to go out to the Parent Teachers Association meetings. We are willing to go to the churches. We are, of course, already connecting with our principals and the teachers. There's a whole series of training that is being organized as we speak. And over the next couple of weeks and months, you will be seeing more of the ministry trying to ensure that everybody understands what is expected, and we will literally physically guide our children and our teachers through. And I am sure after we have gone through the mock that is to be done in June, and after we have made available to the public our specimen paper that will give an idea as to what the questions will be like, then there will be a little more calm within the country. But we are cautioning our parents and our teachers, we cannot teach to the test. The students are not going to do well if you're going to be teaching to a set of questions that you have been provided with. We are testing their ability to think, ability to analyze, ability for them to put their own perspective based on what they see around them and what a particular question is asking them. So we have to now prepare our students to develop that level of understanding and to use their own creativity, which is one of the 21st century skills, to be able to answer the question. So this is a very important distinction that we have to make. So this notion about doing evening classes for PEP or starting a business as it relates to preparation for PEP, it is not going to help unless we ensure that the fundamental principles of thinking and analyzing are within our children as is embedded within the curriculum. So our children, Vanessa, they have the natural ability to think and to relate. They are more expressive these days, and they can tell you exactly what is happening. We have to just continue as parents, as teachers, as administrators to harness these skills, because these are the skills that will give them the jobs in the 21st century here.
So what I'm hearing from you is PEP is not teaching the children to pass an exam. So it's not that. We're not teaching them to go to the assessment and pass the exam. So it's not that. Okay, good.
It's not this actual built-up preparation with a couple of questions that you must remember that it's a multiple choice with 5 questions, and the past paper had question B as the answer, so you have to try and remember. It is not about that.
Yeah, Mrs. Thomas Gale was saying it's not a one-shot. Mm-hmm. So, the ministry is removing the idea of extra classes and all these things in preparation for an exam. I hear what the ministry is doing. I hear what the teachers can do. As a parent, what can I do to ensure that my child is prepared, and how can I ensure that my child gets the pass to the school that they want?
As parents, we have to ensure that our students, one, they are engage in schools with the national standards curriculum. There are several things that parents can do with their children. One, we need to involve our children more at home in decision making. We need to ask questions that don't require a yes or no response, but ask questions that pull the children to respond using sentences. We engage our students in even planning the budget for the month, because one of the requirement of the ability test at grade 6 is to assess the extent to which the students are able to reason quantitatively. Simple things as making dinner, how much of a particular ingredient is needed. Simple tasks like that, you're doing the detergent, the washing, how long you think the cycle should be for a particular clothes. Simple activities. No longer should the child be seen at home and not heard. We have to create our home in such a way that students are given the opportunity to engage in meaningful play. Right? So while they are surfing the net, parents need to be more vigilant in that when they surf the internet, whatsoever information that they retrieve from the internet, it is not just placed back on a document, but the children need to read and interpret. And parents too, they will have to now be more involved in the child's learning. No longer is it up to the teacher alone, but parents need to take an active role in what happens in the schools.
And I hear you are doing sensitization sessions with the PTAs, so the parents are being actively involved in the process. If my child is too young, or if I don't think my child is ready to sit this set of assessments, can I defer my child and allow them to sit PEP next year? Or the year after that? So if my child is in grade 5 now, that means they're going to be sitting PEP next year, but I don't want them to. So can I hold them back until 2020?
No, remember that PEP starts from grade 4. So I don't want it to be seen as sitting PEP next year. Remember, it's no longer a one-shot that is done in grade 6, where we do registration September before the March of that year, and they have the option of deferral. Remember, now it's a series that starts from grade 4.
But what if at grade 6 my child hasn't reached the requisite age? Can I defer them?
All right, let's say a child now at grade 5 moving on to grade 6, the year of birth for that cohort will have to be those born 2006 to 2008. They have to be born between that period. If it is that your child is born 2007, 2008, and you would rather the child not sit PEP 2019, the child can defer. Deferral means that the child will not and should not be exposed to any component of the grade 6 primary exit profile, meaning that the child should not sit the performance task and then decides to defer, and then or sit the ability test and then decides to defer. Deferral also is granted on the premise that if it is that we believe that our children are not ready, it shouldn't be that the child move from a grade to another grade and have both components to sit. If your child is at grade 4 and you want a deferral from the grade 4 component, it should be that the child is repeating grade 4
and not grade 5.
And not going to grade 5 and then having the grade 4 component and the grade 5 component to sit. We do not want our students to have to sit and be revising years of content, because although we said that it's different from GSAT in that it's not a one-shot exam, but the content will still be assessed along with the skills that the children would have developed during the course of the year. So you don't want your child to be revising grade 4 work to do a grade 4 component in grade 5 along with a grade 5 component. So deferral means the child repeats the grades.
So Vanessa, there will have to be a shift in terms of the directive that the ministry sends out from grade 4. So that if a parent wants to make a decision as it relates to deferral, then there are some guidelines that we will have to provide from the students are in grade 4, because as we have indicated, it's a profile and it's an assessment. At the end of grade 4, we will have that report just as we would have had for grade 4 literacy and numeracy. An assessment can be made, but instead of now sending this child to grade 5, as Terry has said, it would be more advisable for the child to repeat at grade 4, go back through the curriculum for grade 4 and do the performance task before the child moves on to grade 5.
All right. We are preparing our children for what the minister calls the 4th industrial revolution. We're assessing them so that they can take their place in society. We have a question. All right. So we have a question from a parent online who is asking about the grade 4 literacy test. Could I have that question again, please? Okay, what is to happen if my child does not pass the grade 4 numeracy and literacy test, or will the previous process still happen? So what is going to happen to my child if they don't pass the grade 4 literacy and numeracy test?
Okay, the grade 4 literacy and numeracy test being done this year, it is still part of the competency-based policy. But what will happen is that the children won't be denied doing PEP. Built in the performance task at grade 4 and grade 6 is a literacy component. So while the competency-based policy says you do not sit the GSAT, the mechanism that will be in place for the children not mastering the grade 4 literacy is that based on their performance task in grade 6, a literacy and numeracy index will be developed. So we will still get their literacy and numeracy at grade 6.
So there's actually going to be an adjustment in terms of how we prepare our children. So from grade 4, once they have done the first performance task and we have started to establish the index, then there will be different pathways that our students will be on.
Right.
And those pathways will now give us the opportunity to ensure that there are specific interventions based on the areas of weakness. And so they may not be denied from moving into high school if they have not done well enough on the performance task or even the areas in grade 6. But there will be a program that is designed very similar to a step that is currently being phased out that will ensure that those students are placed on so that they will be able to operate at the secondary level.
Okay, so if they don't pass now, they'll still move on.
So yes, but let's not see it as pass. Remember, we are mastery, near mastery, and non-mastery.
Right.
So we look at the areas that they would have fallen short, 1 out of 3, or whatever it is going to be that is near mastery. And of course, attention is given to those areas. And so those are the areas that will be taken by the teachers, hence the reduction in the pupil-teacher ratio, so there is greater contact. And we try to see how we can build up the ability of those students before they move into the grade 5 performance task.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sandy Wong, for that question. We have another question from Eileen Dawkins, and she's asking, will there be a new set of grade 6 books, or will the current ones remain?
Okay, we are currently working with our publishers now for a new set of books to eventually be ready for the system. Of course, that takes time, so we do not expect that the full set of books will be out until about 2020, 2021. However, the content has not changed significantly, and so there are books that will continue, textbooks that will continue to be used, along with resource materials that would have been specially developed by the ministry to be distributed to schools this year for that preparation. Note, however, the workbooks that are really not provided by the ministry, they are provided by, of course, publishers, and they have them for sale, and schools decide whether they want the students to buy or parents. Those are not going to assist significantly because those workbooks are mainly multiple choice questions or communication task questions. And so we will now have to ensure that we provide the guidance to the system in terms of workbooks. I know definitely for 2019, we will not have adequate number of workbooks approved by the ministry and on the market. And that is why the ministry will do the specimen paper and other guidelines that we will provide to the system for them to utilize. So by 2020, we expect that, of course, everything will be sorted out. And of course, we have started to work with the Book Industry Association. We have done training sessions for their members, and they are expected to submit their second set of books in June this year for the review to be completed for the 2019 school year.
We have a question from Tanisha Dixon Gale. She's basically asking about the resources allocated to prep versus primary schools. what will the assessment look like for those two groups? Will they be treated differently?
We do, well, of course, parents do have a choice in terms of the education of their children, and some parents would have selected to provide private education for their children. The ministry supports all schools in terms of the implementation of the curriculum and the associated assessments. But of course, remember the leadership and governance for the schools, that's really decentralized both for public and private. And so the ministry provides the broad guidelines, and they are expected to follow these guidelines. While we make available physical resources to our primary schools, we only make selected resources available to our prep schools, and those are usually provided based on the request that these institutions make. So our responsibility first and foremost is to ensure that the resources are provided to our public schools.
Additionally, Dr. McLean, I want to reinforce that all schools, once there is training, all schools, whether it be primary and prep, all schools do participate in the training activities. And as Dr. McLean spoke to the specimen paper, we will ensure that it is exposed to all level schools. But other resources, we speak specifically to the primary schools.
All right. So to answer your question, Tanisha, it is not that the prep schools have been given more resources or more information on PEP. The government, the ministry is ensuring that all schools across the board are prepared and preparing for the primary exit profile. We have another question here. You already addressed it earlier, but again, just to reinforce the fact that the foreseen frustration then that usually comes with preparing for GSAT will not be happening with PEP, because we can't stress it enough. So please.
Whenever there is change, I guess change is the only thing that remains constant in and of itself. So we know that there will be anxiety for the new assessment that is coming out, and that is what we are prepared to manage. Hence the mock exam that is going to be done in June, hence the specimen paper that we expect to be out within another 2 to 3 months, hence the fact that we have information including frequently asked questions on the ministry's website that persons can actually access, hence the fact that we have an email address, classroomassessment@moey.gov.jm, to ensure that information can be, questions can be sent to us and we can respond to those questions. Hence the fact that we have a WhatsApp number, which is 455-3003, where persons can send a message and our manager herself will ensure that there is a response provided. So we're making ourselves available. It doesn't matter how small the change is, it is something that is unknown, and until it reveals itself in whatever form, then there will be the anxiety. So we do understand the anxiety, and we know between 2018 now and 2019 there is going to be some amount of anxiety. We are confident, however, that after 2019, once we have started, the system is going to settle down. The parents are going to see the value of this new assessment. When our students start moving into the high school level, the teachers are going to be happy because the students will not be phased out or dazed out. When they go to grade 7, the students will be better prepared, they will be more alert, and so we are also expecting to start seeing better results at the secondary level. So we just now, Vanessa, have to manage the change, encourage, support, make ourselves available, provide all the information that we can to our Jamaican people, because we know that every single Jamaican has an interest in ensuring that our children do well. And so collectively, we are going to work together to make it a smooth transition for all.
I anticipate that the same kind of anxiety existed when GSAT was being introduced. So change is always going to bring that kind of reaction from some. We are almost out of time, but there is a question here, and I'm going to ask you to address it, because Courtney Sutton is concerned that students are going to be at school even in August due to due to preparations for PEP. Can you please address that?
If students will be at school in August, it is to continue the implementation of the curriculum. It is not for preparation for PEP. The primary exit profile is based on the national standards curriculum. Students cannot and will not be able to just sit and swat a set of questions. These skills have to be developed, and the way in which the skills will be developed is through the implementation of the national standards curriculum. Built in the curriculum are those ways to develop the skills. We're not saying that there won't be need for classes. We're saying that it won't be on the scale that persons seemingly believe that we have to have another school after the regular day sessions. That is not needed. Parents and teachers need to ensure that they stay true to the methodology of the National Standards Curriculum and that the National Standards Curriculum is implemented.
All right. Thank you so very much, ladies. We just want you to wrap with a final word, and then we'll give out the WhatsApp number and the website again. All right. And remember, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, they are reachable via social media, so you can always keep in touch with their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. All right, please, final word, ladies.
Okay, so Vanessa, I just want to say to our Jamaican people that persons within the ministry, including myself, we are also parents. Some of us are grandmothers. We are aunts, we are uncles, and we also have a heart for the success of this country, which must begin with our children. And so whatever we are seeking to implement would be done based on years of research, analysis, consultation, and the development of a product that we think will assist in improving the quality of education in this country. We know that our Jamaican people do trust the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, and we will ensure that we do everything that we possibly can for you to continue to enjoy that confidence. We ask that you speak to our education officers. We have 6 regional offices right across the island. We also have other entities that information can be provided. And please feel free, whatever information you need, queries, concerns, you can stop us in the supermarket. You can stop us at church. You can stop us in the market. You can stop us just about anywhere. And we will be willing to provide and support whatever the needs are and the anxieties. So rest assured, Jamaica, that we are here to serve, and we are here to do it with a heart and with the passion that we'll seek to move this country forward.
Oh, all right, Courtney, I'm hearing you. So when will the children go on holidays, he's asking?
So for this term, the holidays will effectively start on July 10. We had to extend the school year by 1 day because of the 3 days that we missed during the sick period of our teachers.
Right.
And so effectively, school will close on July 9. Please be assured, however, that schools do have the latitude to assess how they would have progressed with the curriculum and in consultation with their boards, make a decision as to the kind of approach that will be used to make up the 3 days. And schools have been writing into us to indicate what they are doing. And of course, those are being approved at the regional level. Some also come to me as well. So you will find that it varies in terms of when the students go off. But the general guidelines is that by the 9th of July, we would officially close off this existing school year.
All right. I hope we answered your question there, Courtney. We are going to move to Mrs. Thomas Gale.
Okay, I would just want to encourage our teachers and our principals that the Student Assessment Unit is here to give you the support that is needed. Ensure that all training that is being planned by the Student Assessment Unit, your teachers participate in it. I know that the teachers usually look forward to their summer holiday, but I am particularly reminding us that come July, we have not trained our grade 6 teachers as yet. And I particularly would like our grade 6 teachers just to make themselves available for that series of training. The bulletin is being sent out to all schools and persons who are not attached to our schools. We have some homeschoolers. You too can participate in the training. You just need to email us your interest in any particular training date so that we make the necessary arrangements for you. The email address is classroom@moey.gov.jm, or you can WhatsApp me at 455-3003. We are here to help you go through this change, and we ask that you participate in our training workshops.
All right. Again, if you have additional questions after the stream has ended, you can always come back, ask your questions. Mrs. Thomas Gale just gave the WhatsApp number, which again is 455-3003, and you can visit moey.gov.jm. All right, and that is where we're going to have to wrap. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is here. They're answering your questions, and they are available henceforth. By the way, you can always visit our Facebook page, Jamaica Information Service Facebook page, because I'm seeing some more questions here which would have already been addressed. And so at the end of the broadcast, you can always go back and listen for your answers. Thank you so very much, ladies, for coming and sharing with us, setting our hearts at ease that our students are fine, that our students are okay, and that there's no reason to fear the big bad PEP, because it's not big and bad at all. It's just a primary exit profile. Right?
Yes.
Not like GSAT where you have to study and it's a one-shot thing. So, rest your hearts. Thank you so very much, Dr. McLean. She's the Chief Education Officer and Manager of the Student Assessment Unit, Mrs. Terry Ann Thomas Gale, for joining me, Vanessa Silvera, on Studio 58A, live on Facebook. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.